Hello everyone, how's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and let's play some Satisfactory, continuing our complete beginner's guide here. And, well, we are rocking and rolling. We have a power grid all started up, and let's go ahead and keep making progress. We do need to definitely get some more copper in the mix here. So we're making copper ingots. That's fantastic. We're burning things down, and we're making a bunch of ingots for this. But let's go to hub upgrade 4. Let's see what else we can do here. And so what does this want? So for hub upgrade 4, they're going to give us the rewards to have conveyor belts, which is absolutely a huge part of this game and one of the funniest parts. And I can't wait to show you all conveyor belts. But we're going to need 13, 20, and 75, and we actually have everything. So we already have the concrete, we already have the cable, and we already have the plates. So we can just do that. All right.
Congratulations, you have unlocked building, conveyor belts and poles. Inventory, additional slots. Ninth
Sweet.
objective, complete hub upgrade 5. Note, portable miners cannot be connected to conveyor belts. Advice, when planning the construction of buildings, note the placement of conveyor belts.
Okay. So this next part of the game is about conveyor belts. Okay? And so what they're telling us is that you see how every single thing that I've built that accepts input and output, for example, the smelter, there's a way in and there's a way out, which are indicated by these arrows. So you see this kind of like blue arrow that's pointing to the right. This means this is where stuff comes out. You can also see that arrow on the bottom here. And then on the other side, you'll see that this is where things come in. So this does not have those blue arrows at all, but this is where we could put things in. So we could theoretically have ore coming in and then coming out as processed ingots and traveling somewhere. I'll show you as an example. If I build a conveyor belt on the end of this and have it go... oh, I don't have any iron rods, so I can't actually make it go very far. Let me see what we're building over here. Well, there's iron rods. Well, of course there is, because we were doing a good job. And we got a bunch of screws. Let's pick up all these. Now, let's go ahead and select some new recipes that we just make in the background. So I'd like concrete, 100%. Do I have any limestone? No. I need to go pick up limestone to get that. And over here, do I want... You know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a bunch of wire. And so I'm going to have these go in here, and that can make wire. Now, limestone, I'm going to scan for it. I believe it's just right around the corner here, is it not? Yes. Let's go pick up this limestone over here. And we put some portable miners on it, so we can pick up a bunch that should just be sitting here. But the point that they were making is that we can't have the portable miner connect to a conveyor belt and send its goods to us. We're going to need something more intense for that. And we'll talk about that in a moment, but let me get some concrete going. So now I have a bunch of limestone stacks, and we're going to run over here. Also, by the way, just pushing tab, showing you my inventory, you can see, yep, we got 3 more slots. So from when we started the game, we are now up 6 inventory slots, which is tremendous. I'm going to select the constructor that we had chosen concrete as the recipe for, and then double-click limestone to put it in here. Remember, this is fully powered, so it's getting what it needs. And I'm going to go over here, and we can take away these ingots, and I can put in some copper ore and have this keep going. I could take these ingots, but now I have no more copper ore, so let's go ahead and select iron. And I want iron to be made, but that's not very much iron that I just took there. Let me get some more. Oh, do I have more? I do. I'm going to take these plates out. And I'm going to run back to this really fast. I always like, if I can, to have stuff just being made while I'm putzing around doing other things. You know, just always being efficient. Now, let me go into my build menu and see if is there anything new. Constructor, smelter, craft bench, workshop, power line, power pole. Well, we can make conveyor belts and conveyor poles. So what that means is if I selected the conveyor belt like I was doing before, but now that we have a rod and concrete, I brought this out. And let's just say for argument's sake, I'm going to build it to right here. I'm going to click here, okay? And what this does is it attaches a conveyor belt to the end. I left click to start, and then you get to shape where it goes, and then you click again to build this pole to support it, okay? And I'm going to click one more time to have it build that all the way, and I'm going to push Q again to close that, and look, out of the conveyor belt, here come all of the ingots that I'm making, and you can see they want to go somewhere. Now, unfortunately, we can't really send them many places right now, because if I go over here, what can I make? Xeno Zapper, portable miner. That's not that great, right? And I can't make anything else new, so it's time for us to just jump on to Hub 5. Conveyor belts are terrific, and they're going to be a huge part of our factory, but they don't do anything for us now because we don't have a place to connect them to store the goods that we're creating, or a way to feed goods into them unless, wait a minute, yes I do. So, check this out. I'm going to configure this constructor. Actually, I'm going to let it keep making its wire. It's almost done. What I'm going to do is push F, and I'm going to middle mouse click on this constructor so I can make one. Now, I need 2 reinforced iron plates to make a constructor, so let's go make that right here. Go ahead and craft 1. And after I make 2, just click on screw to turn that off. Now check this out. I could snake this conveyor belt all the way over to the back of that constructor, or I could just disassemble it and move it over here. But I like the idea of having a lot of constructors, so I'm just going to build a brand new one. I'm going to push Q, and I'm going to build myself another constructor, all right? And I'm going to line it up, all right? So we're going to line it up so that the orange arrows coming in match up with the conveyor belt that I have built right here. Okay, so I'm going to stand in front of this and just kind of get a sense for where do I want to build this so that it's lined up with the other constructor. And let's say I build it right here. Now I'm going to push Q again to close this up. Now you see I've built this, but it's not connected, and you can see it's actually slightly off. So when you're playing this game, it can be wonky, for me anyway, to connect things. I was even using Snap 2 Grid, and it didn't match up exactly to where I wanted it to. So if I were to try to build a conveyor belt, for example, that went from here to here, it says the conveyor belt has an invalid shape and it's red. I can't actually connect that. So instead what I need to do is push F, and I'm just going to deconstruct this part of the conveyor belt right there. All of that, including this pole, okay? And then I'm going to push F again. Now, in my inventory, I picked all of the ingots that were on that conveyor belt. You don't lose anything when you deconstruct that. And remember also, you don't lose any of the ingredients for the conveyor belt because you get all of your resources back when you deconstruct, which is great. Because this is part of the game you'll just have to play with. Now, what I could do is just rebuild the smelter and make it exactly line up. Or, now that I've deconstructed the conveyor belt, I can just push 3. You can see that they've added the conveyor belt and the pole to my action bar to build a conveyor belt that I'll start it here with left click, and then I'm going to just run it, and it will snap to the constructor, and I'll just click again, All right, and now I'm going to push Q to close that. I didn't even need a pole. It was rigid enough to be supported, and you can see that the ingots are coming out of the smelter and going right into constructor. And if I configure this constructor and say, hey, you know what I want? I need iron plates, for example, okay? It's going to make iron plates, but it needs ingots. But the reason it's not doing it is because it has no power. So we're going to push 2 to select our cable. We're going to select our power pole here that only has one connection and put it over to this. All right. And then I'm going to push Q and turn this off. And now you can see the beginning of a factory. We have the smelter taking ore, making ingots, and then feeding those ingots into a constructor. And then the constructor is making plates. And if I were to pull this out just to here, for example, double click, you can see that the plates are coming out. And here they are, and they're waiting to go someplace. Now, let me answer a few questions for you. Number one, there is no reason to have them this far apart. You can put them really, really close if you like. If you can't get them to connect, just deconstruct stuff, rebuild it until it works. Sometimes you have to fudge things to get them to work, but remember there's no penalty for deconstructing. So just play with it until you get it right, okay? Now, if I look at my... you'll see that these are looking a little bit strange. I am, okay, at 20. Let me count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 4 means 24. So actually, this is done making concrete. But I can give it this to turn it back on. This is done making wire. I'll pick up all the wire. I'm going to change the recipe to cable, okay? And it needs wire to do that, so I'm going to give it wire. Now, look at what's happening. If I go over here, you can see that I'm using 12, all right? And I'm only using 12 because I don't have these on. So let me go here. I'm just going to take some iron out. Let me click on this. And let me take all these, and we're going to change the recipe over to iron. And I'm going to put iron in here. Okay. And then this guy wants iron too. But if I do this, are we going to have a problem? Let's look. We are now using 20 exactly. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not 6, 5 stations online using 4 each, which is exactly 20. So I can't build anything more with the power that I currently have. So that's important to bear in mind. Now let's check how many leaves we have. We're almost out of leaves. So I'm going to double click and add all the leaves that I picked up to keep this going. But we're at basically at the limits of our power. And that's fine. We're going to upgrade that more down the road. Now, I'm going to run over here and pick up my stuff from this portable miner so that it can keep working for me. I want to show you something else. Notice how, for example, these iron plates are stuck on the end of the conveyor belt. But if I actually look at the constructor, it's storing all the rest of the iron plates here. And I can double click to just pick them up. And these will stay out here. And I could push E to pick these up one by one. And I could stand here all day and pick them up if I wanted to. Or they'll get stored in the constructor once the conveyor belt is full. All right, so you're never going to lose your resources in that way. Now let's check what we need for Hub Upgrade 5, right? Because we definitely want storage containers and we want a miner. A miner will allow us to replace the portable miners and have a permanent fixture that can feed the resources and totally automate the mining process. Feed the ore out into the conveyor belt, into the smelter. The storage container will be a place where we can put stuff from the constructor. So we want all of this. We're going to select a milestone. We're going to double click, double click, double click, because we've made everything. I've been making things, and we have everything except for the rods. All right. So if we need rods, no problem. I'm going to take all this. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to change the recipe up to rods, and I'm going to just give it this. Make me some rods, please. How are you doing? You've made me all the concrete that you can. Thank you so much. I'm going to change the recipe to... let's go ahead and change it back to wire and give it a bunch of copper. And then there we go. What I like to do at this point in the game is just make sure I have everything. So whatever I can make, I'm making lots of concrete, lots of screws, lots of cable, and if I could, ideally, I would want one workstation up making screws, one up making wire. Like, I want all of this being produced all of the time. Now, as you go, as you learn more about the game, you'll get to a point where you'll understand the ratios, and you might, for example, want more screws than anything else, or you might need a lot of concrete, and you can adjust your system there. But I like to have everything being made. Now, if you get into a pinch, okay, and let me talk to you about that while I collect leaves because I'm running out of biomass. If you get into a pinch and need to make something fast, it can take a while at your constructor to produce things. Don't forget that at any time you can manually make things at the workbench, okay? So it might take a while and you have to stand there, but you can just hammer out what you need to smooth out kinks in your production line, okay? I'm going to go ahead and just pick up all these leaves, just running around, picking them up. Dee-lee-lee. There we go. And now let's go feed our biomass burner. You can see red light, it's run out of power. Let's give it some leaves. There it goes. Now I'm going to go over here and pick up these rods. And this is enough for us to complete the milestone. Double click the rods, upgrade that hub. Now let's take a look at our hub. Look, getting fancier by the moment.
Congratulations, you have unlocked Building Miner Mark 1. Building Storage Container. Hub feature Additional Biomass Burner. 10th objective, complete hub upgrade 6. Note, there are no notes.
All right. So now she's like helping us less and less. But first of all, I want to show you we got another biomass burner on our hub, which means we can support 200 more megawatts of power. So this is, or 20 rather, I'm sorry. So this is beautiful because now we can support some more structures, and we're going to need to, and I will show you why. Because if we want to build a miner, okay, unlike the portable miner, the miner needs its own, it needs power, right? So the portable miner gave us power, and this doesn't. Also, to build a miner, you have to consume a portable miner. So whenever you want to go build a miner, remember to take a portable miner with you. Now, I'm just going to pick this one up, and then what I'm going to do is push Q, and we're going to build a miner Mark 1 right here. Now, I'm going to show you this. You have to move back, and you have to target a node, and it will sit exactly kind of like over top of what it feels is the center of the node, and that's the only place you can put it. But you can rotate it. Now, I'm going to rotate this one over here to point at the smelter, okay? I'm going to click, like, I'm going to actually rotate it even further, like this, okay? And then I'm going to push Q, and this is getting built. And you can see that we have this massive miner. Now, by the way, you can always just climb up the ladder on this if you want, and this will allow you to get a kind of a bird's eye view of your factory. So if you want to see just a better view of your layout, most buildings have a ladder so you can climb up and look around and plan things. So that's a cool thing to consider. Now, I'm going to push 3 and select conveyor belt, and I'm going to connect this conveyor to this, just like that. And I'm going to push Q, and we need to give this power, and then what this is going to do is feed in iron ore to make ingots for us. Those ingots will then go over here and produce plates for us. I'm going to double click, pick up all these plates. Plates are something you're going to need in droves early because they are a requirement to build conveyor belts. Now, you notice I was talking about my action bar at the bottom. You can switch these buttons around. You don't have to use the settings that are plugged in as you complete the onboarding process. You can prioritize where you want to put poles and where you want to put wire and all that stuff. You can also hotkey other things down there if you're going to be building a lot. So I'll show you that right now. I'm going to push Q, and I'm going to say, hey, you know what? I want to actually put, for example, I'm on production. I'm going to go to this new tab that's opened up, organization. You can see storage container. I'm going to put my mouse over this. Now, you can right mouse button this to add it to your to-do list, but you can also hover over this and push 0, for example, and just bind this to key 0. So you can see on the bottom of the screen on my action bar, I've put storage containers as button 0. Now, you can also push spacebar and type in what building you're looking for if you can't find it in the different category tabs. But a storage container takes 10 plates and 10 rods, and I'm going to build one because I want to show you a full system of production from start to finish. Now, a cool thing about storage containers is this. They only take, or they take no power, is what I mean to say. So you can just kind of build this wherever you want, but it requires no power. It's just something that you sit down and will catch the goods that you make. Now I'm going to push Control to try to line it up to the structure that we have built here. I'm holding Control while I do this, and I want to line it up, for example, with this constructor. I'm going to put it right here. Okay. And I think I built it on the right place. Notice how it's up in the air. I'm going to push Q to close this, but it builds these legs automatically to allow that. And I think this is somewhat lined up, but yep, it perfectly lined up this time for us. And now you can see that this will be acceptable. If it's blue, it means it works, and I can just do this. And I'm going to push Q and check it out. Now, all of the plates that I make with this constructor, okay, I'm going to give it some more ingots to show you, will go right into this storage container. And if I push E on the storage container, look, the plates are coming in here. There's 4 that are being stored in here, and look how big this is. So you can now have all of your plates go into one place. So whenever you're looking for them, they're going to be here. So this is automating things from the beginning to the end. But I need to get my miner powered. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to immediately build a pole. All right. Oh, I'm missing wire. Well, luckily for me, I have a bunch of wire because I was making it right here. Wait, no, these are rods. I was making it right here. Great. Let's make some more, by the way. Not going to be in a shortage of wire. And what do you need? You need rods. Yeah, please. Give me some more. How are you doing? Did you finish? You did. Here, take that. Make some more. And can you make more rods while we're talking? Thank you so much. All right. Beautiful. So I'm going to build a power pole. And I'm going to put it next to this one, which is the second of my biomass burners. Okay, I'm going to connect it like that. And then I can go ahead and just click this and run this all the way over here to my smelter. I'm sorry, my miner. Now look at how high that power line is. As you start to see things happening, look at these power lines flying everywhere and running through each other. This game is continuing its very, very generous theme. And what I mean by that is you can clip things through other buildings. Power lines, even conveyor belts most of the time, you can clip right through without any problem. So you don't have to fret too bad about things logically or spatially working right, but you can't clip buildings for the most part. So some things you can clip, and you'll learn as you go, and I'll show you some examples of that. Now, what is your problem? You need power. Okay. So I need to go get power because I'm horrifyingly low on biomass. So to just show you what this would look like, I'm going to click on this and I'm going to give this some wood, okay? And then I'm going to give this one these flower petals. And now we've got biomass happening. Now look at this. The miner is up and running. It's drilling right here. And eventually you're going to see, instead of having to run around and feed manual stacks of ore into my smelters or check all of my miners, I now have ore going right from the miner along the conveyor belt into my smelter. My smelter then turns it into ingots and spits that out over here into our constructor, which will turn them into plates and put them over here into our storage container. So if we have enough power, this will be always making this for us, okay? So, beautiful. We don't have to think too much right now about things like the speed of the conveyor belts or the rate at which iron plates are being produced in terms of how fast are these being made based on how many bars I'm moving to it at what speed and how much ore is coming in to be made into bars for a completely efficient and perfect system. You don't have to worry about that right now, but later those kinds of concerns will present themselves. Now, we've got one miner, but we need to build a bunch more. In the meantime, I'm going to go around getting biomass, okay? Because we need a ton. So I'm just going to walk around and pick up every leaf I can find. So what you're going to learn about the game as you progress is that you're going to increasingly automate your system. There's a bird, by the way. And what you're going to do is see where the choke points are. So right now, a huge bottleneck for us is biomass. I'm having to walk around manually and do this. So, of course, I would want a more efficient method of doing it, or even this to be automated. And we're going to see how we get better tools for harvesting or how different processes become automated, and our job as a Fix-It employee changes over time. All right? You really just can't have enough of these things. And this right here is a power slug. I'm going to collect this power slug. I'm going to hold E, and boom, we got it. So you can see in our bag, we have a blue power slug. Now, if you see any slugs like that of any color lying around, try to collect them if you can. You might not realize what they are used for now, and you really wouldn't know because the game hasn't told you, but they are something that you will use later. So most things in the game, you know, if you don't have a use for them now, you will later, and might as well get them. Gotta get these nuts. And I'm just going to kind of walk around and I'm going to check my bags. We're filling up. We have a full stack of leaves, which is good. Run through here. Just pick up as many leaves as I can. All right, amazing. Now, my main objective at the moment is going to be getting biomass. Okay, that's huge. But also, what's huge is... Oh, there's a creature. I hear something growling. I'm going to run away from that. What's also huge is getting copper automated and limestone. Iron is okay because it's close by. Oh, look, we have sulfur right here, don't we? Oh, no, it's caterium. Interesting. All right, well, that's just right by our base. We can't use this now, but let's get it and put it in our box. All right. So we'll just have a little caterium lying around. Cool. All right. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to dump this caterium in here. Won't need that for a bit. Now, in the meantime, let me see about my supplies. Flower petals are doing great. Wood is actually doing great. I'm going to top off both of these so I can go explore. All right? So, because it's closer, I'm going to work on automating the concrete. All right, so what we're going to do is run over here to where the limestone is. I can push V to track it if I want. Found it. And here it is, standing here for us. Now we have 2 portable miners here, right? So I'm going to pick one up. And I'm going to pick this one up. And I'm going to push Q, and I need to build a miner. Now I don't know if I have the ingredients for it, and I do. Remember, there's no weight in the game, so you can carry as much as you can stack in your inventory. I'm going to point this toward our base. You can always change it later if you don't like the way that it's pointing. All right? Now, I'm going to then say we need to get conveyor belts going over to our base. And look at this. I can clip the conveyor belt, by the way, like I told you, through this boulder, and it's no problem. And you just run with the conveyor belt as long as you can until it says it's too long, and it'll turn red. So I can move it here, for example. Now I'm going to push Q to close this. Look at this. When I first started playing, I thought this was unbelievable and hilarious, but this is actually not that bad. You can have conveyor belts going across the map, okay? So don't be alarmed by the size of this. Now, I need to run power to this as well, so I'm going to click on this with power selected, and we're just going to run it as far as a wire will take it until it needs a pole. So it'll tell you at some point, like, I can't go anymore, wire is too long, and then you just build a power pole there. And now this is connected. I'm going to push 3 again to go back to my conveyor belt, and we just need to get this back to our base. Okay? I'll show you where I'm going to put it. You can put it wherever you want, but I'm just going to be lazy about it. Put it here. Remember, this takes plates. This is why we're making a bunch of plates. And I'm going to run it right into this constructor. Okay, and I'm going to push Q to stop this, and we're going to just configure this to be concrete. Now, I have a constructor here, which is why I was doing that. But you can always just put the constructor on site and send concrete back if you want. You can put it wherever you want along the production line. It's up to you. Now, I'm going to put my wire, and I'm going to connect this wire back to the pole that we just made for our second biomass burner over here. Like that. And I'm going to push Q and show you. You could see way far away, you see over here, the green light on the miner means it's getting power. Now, the conveyor belt takes no power to use. It's just doing its thing. You can see it's constantly moving away. By the way, for fun, you can jump on your conveyor belt and be moved by it if you want to have a really slow system. And even though this like coral reef thing might block us, it does not block the limestone. The limestone is going to start coming. In fact, you can see it here. Here comes the limestone. And we can ride back with it if we want, or we can run along with it. All right. So now we have limestone coming in, and I'm going to show you another fun. Let's see. We need to build. Actually, I'll push 0 and try to build a storage container. Yep, we can build it easily. I'm going to build one that is right here. I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to kind of put it next to my bench. Let me try to snap it. No, I need to rotate it a little bit better. And it's not easy to... There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to see if I can get this connected to this. There it is. And now, I'm going to push Q to close this up. We have automated concrete. The concrete is coming in the form of raw limestone, will be taken by the constructor and transformed into concrete and then put into this storage container. How about that, right? Now, another thing I can do if I want is build a storage container up high. So we need some rods. Let me get these rods like this. And I'm going to give you some more. And I'm going to push 0. And we could build... Oh, I need plates. Well, we know where plates are. They're over here in our storage container. I'll take 200, sure. We could build another storage container, okay, right on top. And I'm going to actually turn it around so that it's facing out. Not like it matters too much, but I'm going to push Q to close this. And I want you to start thinking about building your factory horizontally as well as vertically through space. Okay? Now this conveyor, why not, or this storage facility, why not connect it there? Remember, clipping doesn't matter with these conveyor belts. It will block you, okay? So as you go, this configuration might not make sense to you. You might need to be, get more sophisticated with how you're doing things, but it's part of the charm to have a spaghetti factory, I think, with belts going everywhere. And look, here comes our beautiful concrete going out, right? And there goes this over here into plates. So now we have iron being turned into bars, being turned into plates and stored. And we have limestone coming in and being turned into concrete and stored. And we have our second constructor set up, which we need to build a miner onto this iron node. We should have 2 iron nodes. Here's the other one right here. And then we can have 2 iron productions all set up. And then we'll probably dismantle this smelter and put it over by the copper and start sending in copper to be produced into wire someplace else if we want. But fantastic. So everyone, I hope you found this episode helpful. We have automated with power the act of mining and producing, and now are storing things in different containers. And you could start to see how the madness unfolds and how, like the title, satisfying it is to see yourself begin to build a huge, sprawling factory with wild conveyor belts going all over the place and the resource counts just skyrocketing. Ooh, look at that. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. Take care.